Ever had a painting start off so badly you wanted to cry and burn it to the ground? Well, that's what happened with me and my attempt at this watercolor inspired pop art portrait painting. And yeah, I know what you're thinking. Hold up, watercolor and pop art together? That sounds like a goddamn car accident waiting to happen. What are you even thinking, Amanda? Yes, I know, but I was curious to give it a shot. Plus, I had gotten these really cool watercolor brush pens from Arteza, and I so badly wanted to use them. And given my newfound obsession with abstract portrait painting, it was only a matter of time before I put these two things together like a love sandwich. So let me just start off by saying this. If you've been a longtime subscriber of this channel, you know we deal with acrylic paint and acrylic paint accessories. And with watercolors, I have little to no experience. I think I used them once for my art studio class back in high school over 15 years ago, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And that could have also been because my art teacher was kind of a loose cannon, but that's a story for another video. My point is, put a watercolor brush in my hand, I have no idea what I'm doing. But I wanted to try new things, new mediums, new styles, and see how far I can push my sanity beyond the breaking point. That's what we do to get better as artists. We push the envelope and try some really scary shit, and be okay with the idea that it might turn out like shit. All for the sake of learning. To begin, I experimented with the brush pens using watercolor paper to try and get a handle on the situation and see how these things worked. And I really liked the feel of these brush dips on the paper, almost like I was doing some delicate calligraphy or writing a scathing review about exposed ankles like a medieval critic, something like that. But once I got a little more comfortable, it was time to do some artwork, and I had this line drawing I prepped and transferred onto watercolor paper. Filled with hope and a slight overconfidence, I began laying down my colors. And by laying down, I mean creating every sort of blotch, water stain, and weird discolorations any amateur with no business in watercolors can do. Even though it was kind of a hot mess, I was actually kind of enjoying it. Like, I was marveling at how the ink would slowly spread into the surface, creating pretty blends and gradients. I was surprised to see how one section completely changed within minutes once the paper fully absorbed all the liquid I had put into it. I was fascinated, to say the very least, which kept me going. Then I decided to try doing some line work, and boy, did that look really weird. Like, I always associated watercolors with, like, subtlety and delicacy, whereas pop art is more bold, colorful, and in your face. So seeing these two combined really started getting me nervous. Like, the lines felt too dark, the colors felt too muted, and the more ink that I tried adding with water, the more blotchy the paper looked. And I realized that this wasn't acrylics anymore. This is big girl watercolors, and layering was only going to make it worse. So I kept going, diluting the inks with water to get me a not so stark contrast, which was okay, but not exactly what I liked. And then I had the idea of adding more colors over the dried areas of the paper, trying to bring out the more bold colors without adding much water, and surprisingly, that seemed to help. I decided it was high time to introduce my titanium white acrylic paint to the scene, and boy, was I relieved. Something I was familiar with, knew that worked, and wouldn't splotch on me. I brought out the lightest values of this painting and felt my anxiety finally loosen with every stroke. That's when I knew that we were going to be okay. So I got bold again. I began to add some cool looking shadows to give this character more depth and life. And then I grabbed my black Everblend marker, the third medium introduced so far, in case you guys are counting, and began to reinforce my lines. I figured if I want to do pop art, I have to go all in and be okay with the stark contrast, because I'm going to make it work somehow. I just know it. Then I suddenly got the idea of using colored pencils to add more color and vibrance. And wouldn't you know, it worked like a charm. We are officially in the realm of mixed media, baby. I was creating gradients, adding yellows and oranges and stark purples where I couldn't with my watercolors. I felt the adrenaline coursing through my fingers as I started laying down color after color after color. It's playtime. I'm talking scribbles, squiggles, random lines wherever I wanted them. I'm talking white outlines, creating additional contrast, and the occasional geometric shape for more variety and looseness. And because I just wanted even more color and make my character feel more integrated with the scene, I played with the facial colors, creating magentas and pinks for shadows, and oranges and yellows for the highlights. Queen Bee, we are cooking with gas now! And the more lines I added, the more my vision was coming together. And the thing I was feeling inspired to create was hair, an explosion of lines that add movement, spontaneity, and a truly abstract vibe that I was so craving. Now, I knew I needed something for deeper contrasts, and I knew there could only be one medium that would answer the mail: my Mars Black acrylic paint. It was the missing piece of the puzzle that rescued me and helped clean up some little mistakes here and there. Shh, don't tell anybody. And it wouldn't be me without some shiny embellishment. I went with this gold metallic acrylic marker from Arteza that helps accentuate some of the lines, add little details to the hair, and some cool dots for added splendor.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that abstract painting video. I sure as hell had a great time throwing as much mixed media at it as possible. We'll definitely have to do again. And if you guys want to see more art and painting inspiration just like this video, be sure to click on this playlist right over here. See you there!